Welcome to this JMC weekly webinar on mastering the point of sale, March 1st, 2023. My name is Paul Freed. I'm the trainer at JMC. I've been with JMC for 17 years. I've traveled to many school lunchrooms, lunch lines, and talk about the point of sale. So I'm excited to lead this training with you. And I'm assisted by Denise Drew. Denise, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thanks, Paul. Yes, I worked with the point of sale at the school I worked at for many, many years, and I love the point of sale. It's so easy to use and straightforward. And the nice thing about it is the parents can see right away if their child ate lunch or not, if they're low on lunch money and everything. So it's great.
Yeah, absolutely easy to use. So here we go. The point of sale is part of JMC's lunch module designed to get your students and staff through the lunch line quickly and efficiently. Simply scan or enter the student or adult lunch account to begin charging meals. Today, we'll take a look at charging meals in the point of sale and setting up the point of sale preferences. I'm going to go through things quickly because I know people don't have a lot of extra time in their day, but I want to let you know when I go through the charging meals in the point of sale portion, I'm going to just read through the directions first to give you the basics, adding just a few comments, but really I'm excited to show you the live look to make sure you're using the point of sale efficiently, because lots of times I think people who use it even for 20 years don't realize some of the functionality we have. So let's get into it. If you have any questions, just type them in there and I'll answer them at the end of each section. Denise will bring them up if a Q&A item comes in. So charging meals at the point of sale. JMC's point of sale portal is just like a cash register, providing food service professionals an easy way to track lunch purchases while quickly moving students through the lunch line. Simply scan or enter a student or adult lunch account to begin charging meals, extra milks, and a la carte items. Tracking purchases through the point of sale is the way in this way allows users to run a variety of reports in JMC Office for accurate meal reporting. All right, first to come in, you'll click the point of sale icon on the JMC landing page to log into the point of sale portal. Step 1, click the begin breakfast or begin lunch button to start processing meals. Helpful tips: streamline, this is an optional thing, the lunch process by placing a check mark in the auto mode checkbox to enable auto mode for the point of sale. The fun fact is auto mode allows the point of sale user to simply press the enter key to charge the selected student a meal. So this is a lot of time at breakfast when there's no a la cartes and the kids come in, they just type in their number or scan their number. You're just coming in, punching to say that kid ate a meal. It just saves one keystroke. I'll show you that in just a moment here as well. Step 2, enter the student's or adult's name or ID number in the find field to begin charging the items for the point of sale. Typing the student's name or the parent or the adult's name is the slowest way. You want to be entering their student ID or having them enter their student ID with a 10-key keypad, or scanning a card, or however you want to identify the student, right? That's just the easiest way to do it, but probably the most common in the many, many schools I've gone to is the kids walk up and say their lunch number, which is their student ID, or type in their own student ID as well. Step 3 is optional. You can select the appropriate cash pricing group or press the plus cash button on the keypad to begin a cash transaction for guests in the point of sale. So, when you come in right away before you put a student's number in there, or if you hit the clear button, it'll bring you back to this screen and you'll see this right up here. I won't dwell on this for too long, but it just allows if a student brings cash or an adult brings cash and you don't want to put it into their account, you can go ahead and put it right into that adult cash account. All right, step 4, once you've identified the student, right? So all these steps up here, identify the student here, or do a cash adult account, then you're gonna choose those items. So you can click the appropriate item or use the corresponding item number on the keypad to charge meals, a la carte, and extra milks to the selected account. And one thing we've added in the last couple of years is the ability to click a la carte items and also remove items as well, which I'll show you in the live look. Step 5, click the enter button on the page or press the enter key on the keypad to charge the selected items to the selected account. Step 6, repeat steps 2 through 5 until all the serving period has concluded. Now, it used to be that most people used a 10-key keypad because it's very quick, and it's a very quick way to charge students. But now with the clickable items on the screen, I see more people moving to a touch screen or using their mouse to go through. So, all right, helpful tip, you can click the hamburger menu to access the preferences link or log out link as well. And I'll show you that when we log out there as well. But the preferences is the second part of this training. All right, let's take a live look. That's where I'm going to show you the real cool stuff that's going on here. So here is the JMC point of sale, right? I clicked on the point of sale. I came in, I logged into it right there. You can come in and begin breakfast or begin lunch. Now we do have the ability to change the date here. So if you forgot to put a meal in for yesterday, you can change the date, but just make sure you log out and log back in to come back into today's date as well. Here we go. We'll go to begin breakfast. Now, if I want to do the auto mode, meaning I just want kids to come up and have the easiest way just to charge them a meal, I can choose that auto mode, and the kids will come up and student number 12 will come up, and I can just actually click. It's actually just the breakfast key, and that charges that student a meal right there. Student number 13 and breakfast key, and that'll do it right there. Student number 14, and I can do breakfast, and that will charge them right there. There's no a la cartes. Now you actually can charge a student a la carte, but you got to do it first. So if I go student number 15 and I do an a la carte, so say I do candy and a bowl of fruit, I do then have to do breakfast and enter, just like you would in a normal situation. So then when I go back to student number 17, I can do breakfast and it will charge that student there. So that auto mode basically makes it to say, hey, when I click the meal, breakfast or lunch, it's going to charge that student right away. If I want to do a la carte, student number 19, in addition, while I'm in this mode, I first have to say, well, they're going to get extra milk and they're going to get some pancakes and eggs, and then they're going to get a breakfast, and then enter. And then when I go to the next student right there, student number 20, I can go back and say that student's just getting a breakfast right there. So that auto mode is pretty cool, especially if the vast majority of students are getting milks. In our charter schools, where they're pre-ordering meals and there's no a la cartes, I definitely would use that auto mode. But most people don't, because you've got a la cartes there. Some of our larger school districts, just so you know, Denise, have a lunch line or a breakfast line and a different a la carte line. So that might be helpful there as well. But for most people, they're coming in, the student is identifying themselves, student number 22, they're going to get a breakfast, maybe an extra milk. Now there's the old school way using the 10 key keypad where they can say a la carte. So -1, that's going to charge them the cookies. If I want to do a bowl of fruit, I can do -2, and that's a bowl of fruit there as well. So that's one way to do it. You also can even speed it up a little bit. If I want to do a kombucha smoothie here, I can do -0.3, and that will actually do it a little more quickly because it's not waiting to see if you're going to type another keystroke in there. So however you want to do that. But with the advent of touch screens and the ability to now type items on here, I see a lot of people using their keypad, I'm sorry, their mouse and the touch screen even more. So let's click enter here. So if this student comes up here, student number 21, and they want to get an extra milk and they want to get 3 of these items, they go click, 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 and enter, and they're done. Student number 22 comes up, is going to get this and this and this and this, and enter, just like that. So it's just easy to do. Now, the other cool thing we added this year, student number 25 comes up, gets a breakfast, an extra milk. Oh, there's no a la cartes on. Let's say they bring 4 extra milks up there. Oh, I only want 2 milks. You now can click on items to deselect them from the purchased items that we have listed there as well. So you can select items by clicking on them or deselect items. And that's by far the fastest way to do things in the point of sale, especially if you got a touch screen or especially if you're coming through here. So, we got most schools, the kids put their number in, you're doing whatever that item might be and going right through it there as well. So extra milk, bowl of fruit, kombucha smoothie, cookies. Oh, I don't want cookies. I just want that kombucha smoothie. No problem. Click that there and click enter and you're good to go. Very, very fast. Now, if you make a mistake, there's 2 things to know about mistakes. Student number 25 comes up, gets a breakfast. Oh, there we go. First breakfast. That's fine. We'll get extra milk and we'll just put all these milks there and say, oh, I've got the wrong kid or too many items. I just want to start over. Click that delete clear button right there. And that starts you over, right? No kids selected. All the items are removed there. So that delete clear is basically, hey, I want to start over. Typically, we're using this when the wrong student puts their ID in there. If I've charged a student an item and they've walked away and they come back, I want to return these cookies or whatever reason it might be, you can come down here to delete a transaction and all the items are listed by time here. So not only does this allow you to delete a transaction, but it allows you to see a timestamp list of which students purchased which things. So if Ben Bulky doesn't want these cookies here, click delete. It puts this an undelete. If you want to undelete it, it's deleted. It's listed there. That way it prevents fraud. So somebody couldn't just take cash from students and then put it in their pocket and delete items. It's saying, hey, there is a record of what was deleted listed there as well. Want to return back to breakfast? Go back to breakfast. All right, before I see if Denise has any things she wants to add, here's the last thing I'll tell you. You want to see the whole screen on your screen. I don't like it when I go to schools and and this is not uncommon, right? They've got their screen like this and or whatever, they're scrolling all over. Use your plus or minus up here. You can come up here and say, hey, I want to do smaller or bigger on a Mac. You can hold down your command key and do the plus or minus, right? On Windows, I think it's Control. This is what I like to see on the screen. So when a kid comes up and they type in their number 26 and they get an extra milk and they get a bowl right here, I can see everything on this particular screen and click enter. It used to be that screen, monitors were kind of expensive, but they're not as expensive anymore. Make sure you get a screen big enough. Also, again, very helpful if you've got a touch screen there as well. I could make it a little bigger. That's a good size there. Where I get a little like, I'm not quite sure, is when I can't see the bottom of the screen, right? So this is where I like to kind of see it. And you can do whatever you want, but you determine the size of things on your screen. So Denise, anything you want to add to that, or should we see if there's any questions?
Jennifer has a question. She wants to know if you could add like 2 cookies with the click of your mouse.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That is a great question. So student number 26 comes up and wants to get a breakfast, and I want 2 cookies. You just come here and click, click. That's that easy. 3 bowls of fruit. There we go. 5 kombucha smoothies. Yep. Oh, 1 too many. Boom, boom. It's just so easy. I was just at a school and they said, hey, it'd be nice if I came up here and I wanted 3 cookies. If I clicked on cookies and a screen came up and I could type a 3 in. And I don't think that's the fastest way. If I want 3 cookies, 1, 2, 3, and they're all listed right there. It's much faster than going to your keyboard and doing a keystroke that's listed there as well. So great. Great. So that is fantastic. And Denise, you didn't get a chance to use the clicking of the a la carte items when you were using it. But anything else you want to add, Denise?
No, but this is a wonderful feature that JMC has added to it. It makes it much quicker.
Yeah, absolutely. Here's my last point. If you're a brand new point of sale user, you've never used the point of sale before, here's what you can do. Come in here and just you can play with it a little bit, as long as instead of hitting the enter button, you hit delete clear, you can play with it. So you can come in here and I can say, like I actually didn't go over the cash things, right? If a cash adult comes up here, for example, and you want to play with it, cash adult, breakfast, extra milk, you have to click the cash button. It tells you how much they owe, $1.35. And this is hard coded here, $1.35. You can't change that. The assumption is you're going to take $1.35 cash in there. You're going to take $1.35. You're going to give change if you want to give change there, and then click. I'm going to click cancel because I'm not charging them. I click delete clear. I can start over, right? If a kid is going to pay for cash, so student number 11 is going to come up and wants to get an extra milk and pay the 30 cents, I can click cash. Again, I'll put in 0.30 here. You can put in extra if you want. It'll go back into their account as like a deposit, but you can always click cancel here. So again, going back to my original point, you're a new person. Come in here, type in a student's ID, student number 11, charge them an extra milk and a breakfast and whatever that might be there, and then the student's not allowed any purchases. Let's try a different person here. There we go. You could charge them these things and then click delete clear instead of enter, and that's all you would need to do there. So really, really easy to be able to go in and do this. Just don't hit enter, click delete clear. You can practice it over and over and over again. So really helpful to be able to use that portion there as well. All right, since there's no other questions, let's go through the preferences and then wrap this baby up. Sign up the point of sale preferences. If you're a point of sale user, you're on it every day, probably for an hour or two. You got to know what your preferences are. Help your students and adults get through the lunch line quickly and efficiently by setting your preferences in the point of sale portal in JMC. Maintain control over the information displayed on the point of sale pages, such as low balances, student photos, font sizes, and audible alerts. So you'll log into the point of sale portal and click on the hamburger menu in the upper left to access the point of sale preferences tree. There it is listed right there. Step 1, choose the Windows or Macintosh keyboard radio button to select your point of sale computer type. It will default to the correct one, but sometimes Mac users might use a Windows keyboard and vice versa. So you could change it if you want to. Step 2, place a check mark. And I'm not even going to show this in the live look. I'm just going to explain it right here, Denise. And if people have questions, they sure can type them in. That's pretty self-explanatory, but I'm just going to tell you what they mean right here and add my little 2 cents as we go. So the first checkbox this here is listed here. Always show account balance. Place a check mark in the always show account balances checkbox to view account balances directly on the point of sale page as students go through the line. That shows it for everybody. Most schools don't have this checked, because if you have this checked and a student comes through with 0 every time, you're going to know pretty quickly, or the point of sale user is going to know that they're a free student. And people don't want point of sale users to know who's free and who's reduced. That's very private information. So most schools don't show account balances. The question comes up, well, we need to let kids know when they're low balance. And I'll talk about that actually in this next one here as we go. So step 3, enter the dollar amount in the low balance limit field to receive an alert on the point of sale page when a student's account drops below the specified amount. So you could put $5 in there, and when a student comes through the lunch line, if their balance is under $5, it will show up in red and say, hey, this student is under $5. Now, if they're a free student and they've never purchased anything, right, they've only done their free and reduced or free meal, it will never say that they're under $5 because it recognizes, hey, the student doesn't have any money in their account. But as soon as somebody purchases something, if they're under $5, it will show you that. Now, even 5 years ago, before COVID, people used to let students know a lot at the lunch line. Oh, your family balance is low, your balance is low, your balance is low. That's kind of gone the way of the dodo bird for two reasons. Number one, people don't want kids to feel bad if their parents don't have money in their account. But here's the thing that I think is most important to note is that the kids don't pay the balance, right? The parents do. And you can, in the JMC office, not the point of sale user, you can have automatic phone calls go to parents, emails go to parents, right? There's easy ways to alert them. So most schools that I go to now don't alert kids anymore. They just go to the lunch line and they'll pester the parents, I guess is what I would say. So you can put a number in there if you want to. It's totally up to you. All right, step 4, click the save button to update the low balance limit. So if you want it to show up there, click save and that will save it listed there. Step 5, select the appropriate student number, student ID, password numeric, locker number, combination from the drop-down list to set your preference for entering students on the point of sale page. So 98% of the time, the students are putting their student number. If your school does something different, then most likely your technology director is going to help you change this. But for some people, they don't want the student ID, they want their password or maybe their locker combination or something like that. But so 98% of the time, if not more, it's defaulted to student ID. You wouldn't change that unless somebody would tell you to change that. Step 6, place a check mark in the enable charge sound checkbox to enable a cash register sound after completed transaction. I really like this feature. If you put a checkbox in there, when you hit the return key, it does a register sound, cha-ching. And if you want to use this, it does help this to slow down the lunch line, because then you can tell kids, hey, don't move on until you hear the cash register sound. Now, here's the only important thing to note. Most computer speakers, their internal speakers, are not loud enough in a loud lunchroom to let students know that noise. So if you're going to use this, you're going to have to get some speakers plugged into your computer, point it right at the students, so the students will hear that sound as they go through the lunch line. But it's a great way, instead of, when I go to a lot of schools, the person at the lunch line will be saying, oh, wait, hold on until I'm done, wait, hold on until I'm done. This is a way to say, hey, don't move on until you hear the cha-ching sound or the cash register sound there, listed there. So I like that feature. Step 7, place a check mark in the enable low balance sound checkbox to enable alert sound indicating a student has reached a low balance threshold. Also, again, 5 years ago, schools used to use this a lot. It goes, to let the student know and let you know that that student has a low balance. For my previous part of the conversation, most schools don't use this anymore. Step 8, place a check mark in the disable cash button checkbox to disallow cash transactions at the point of sale. Again, the cash button is that plus key on your 10-key keypad. If you don't take the cash at the point of sale, then you would check that box, because there's no reason to have it active. That way a student doesn't accidentally click that plus button and make it able to, to look like it's a cash amount sale there. So if you take cash, you sure can leave that unchecked. If you don't take cash at your point of sale machine, because each one can be different, you can check that box. All right, step 9, select a font size from the font size drop-down list to adjust the size of the text displayed in the point of sale page. You can play with that, small, medium, large. You can change that to whatever you want. Change it, log into that point of sale, begin breakfast or begin lunch, and you'll see how it's reflected there. All right, one of my favorites, place a check mark in the show student photo checkbox to display the student photo along with the student name on the point of sale page. I like this feature. That way the point of sale user can see the student's photo as they're going through the lunch line. Step 11, place a check mark in the show last student processed after transaction checkbox to continue to display a transaction until a new student has entered their information. So something we added in a few years ago. People said, hey, when I used to hit the return key, if this is unchecked, the student goes away. They say, well, I just want to see who that student is in case they come back to the lunch line or come back and say, oh, I want to make another purchase right away. So most schools will leave that checked as we go through there. Step 12, place a check mark in the default charge second lunch with enter key checkbox to enable students to purchase a second lunch. So this is charged for most schools. That means that when a student goes through the line the second time to get a lunch, whether they're free, reduced, or full paying, When they charge a meal, it's going to charge the full price meal for them that's listed there. So I don't know any schools that have this unchecked. Somebody must not have it checked, of course. That's been a request. That's why we have it in there. But most schools leave this one checked, meaning, again, when anybody comes to Lunchline for a second time to purchase a second lunch, we're going to charge them the full meal price. Step 13, place a check mark in the require exact student number match to match students with their exact ID if you're using a scanner to select students. This is really helpful for barcode scanners because when that student's their student's ID goes in, it will choose that student immediately, and instead of waiting for them to enter another number. So, if you've got students at your school, you've got, thousands of students, which we have schools with thousands of students. If you have one student that's 131 and another student who's 1,311, it's going to wait to see if you're typing that last number one in there. Where this way, when the kids put their 131 in, it's going to choose them right away. So that's the main things that we have there. I'm not going to do a live look at that. You can go through and turn those on and turn those off again. You can play with it to see how they affect you. But if you want to go in and you want to turn on the sounds and turn them off and play with them, you sure can do that. But most of the time, what people are going to do is you'll enable the charge sound, play with the font size, show the student photo, show the last student processed, default the second charge lunch key. If you're using a barcode scanner and kids have a barcode, you can do that. That's totally up to you as well. So I think that's it. Denise, any questions or anything you want to add before we wrap this one up?
No, I think we're good. Thanks, Paul.
Great. I want a quick and exciting way to show folks how they can efficiently use the point of sale. All right, JMC news and upcoming events. All right, here we go. So next week we have the utilizing early at-risk alerts with the admin dashboard. Denise Drew is going to be leading that one, along with a great team of our client service specialists. Then we have advanced JMC teacher series, JMC teacher student list and report overview. That's one of those that I'm excited about because the student lists in JMC teacher are a very powerful feature there as well. So they can basically run their own customizable reports. Then 329, understanding GPA calculations and reports, also great, so you can understand how GPAs are calculated. And April, the first week of April, master schedule building stages 3 through 6. So that's another great one there for people building master schedules, for sure in the high school, sometimes in the middle school as well. All right, we are hiring. Want a part-time gig or the inside scoop to all things JMC? Join our team and become a part-time client service specialist. As a client service specialist, you'll develop meaningful relationships with our users through communication, training, and support. In return, we offer a competitive salary and opportunity to work remotely. But don't take our word for it. Here's a quote from our CSS people. The part I enjoy most about being a CSS is the constant opportunity to connect with others to learn more every day. To apply, email your resume and letter of introduction to hr@jmcinc.com with job application in the subject title. Our JMC Summer Conference offers a unique opportunity where JMC clients, trainers, tech support specialists, and client service specialists gather for a day of learning, sharing, planning, camaraderie, and fun. This is always the first week of August. I think we're doing early in that first week of August, we're doing Minnesota. And I think the first Friday in August, we're doing Iowa in Ankeny, Iowa. This wonderful opportunity gives us all a chance to meet face-to-face, to learn from each other and prepare for the upcoming school year. Visit our Eventbrite page to secure your spot soon. I say at least one person from each of your buildings should go there, if not saying a small team, to talk about how you're using JMC efficiently for the upcoming school year. The time you spend there will save you hours and hours, if not days of work in the upcoming school year. All right, we got regional workshops. JMC is getting ready for our 2023 in-person regional workshops. Throughout April, our workshops will take place at schools throughout the Midwest to share all about how our messaging tools can unite your entire school community. Interested in hosting one? You can let us know, but don't tell too many folks. We'll be featuring our first module in the new look and feel, so I'm excited about that as well. And we have our move up season. It's begun today, or not today, but one thing to note is that you just fill out this part right here, our short online form, and let us move up your data for you. After collecting your contact and billing information for any new modules you might want to add, we will go ahead and create your 23-24 database there. And refer a friend, reward your skill. It's back, folks. Now through March 2023, we're offering schools a discount for referring their friends. For each school you refer to JMC that signs up for our software, we'll provide $750 scholarship for your district. And another great way to stay up to date on all things JMC is through our social media presence. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn at OnlineJMC, or our blog, jmcinc.com/news. On behalf of Denise Drew and myself, thank you for your time today, and thank you for choosing JMC.